my name is Michael Suter. This is the 6th video in my series for Daimon Seed Astrology. This video is going to be a short one, and it's going to be about mythology and archetypes, and how I've come to the specific ideas that I have about archetypes, the archetypal planets. So if you were to take this idea that our archetypal, our planetary archetypes are derived from mythology, most people would probably say, "Oh yeah, sure, that totally makes sense." However, it's not that simple. As I look at it, the zodiac is the story of the year. It's a story of the seasons. It's a story of the seasons that had to be seasons in a temperate climate where you have extremes of cold and extremes of heat at different times of the year. So you have the different different fortunes, different a range of experience, a wide range of experience, which is the metaphor that's proper for human experience. We often have a wide range of possible experience in our life. So as I look at mythology, I am looking at the particular characteristics of a mythic figure, planetary mythic figure, and applying the things that archetypal planet does that moves the year along. So let's talk just for a moment about Jupiter. So Jupiter, what does Jupiter do in astrology? Jupiter is, the typical opinion about Jupiter is that he gives gifts. He's generous. He tries to make everything better. He's expansive. He's warm, but not extremely warm. He's temperate. And then we can go from there and look at the seasons that Jupiter rules. So Jupiter rules Sagittarius season, which is coming right up as I record this, and Pisces season in the end of winter. So what do those two seasons have in common? You have to look at the zodiac, kind of step back from it for a moment and see what's really going on. The two seasons that he rules are before and after Saturn's seasons, and Saturn is polarized with the lights, with the luminaries in the zodiac. So what is Saturn doing there? Saturn is limiting the year. Saturn is making things cold. Or he's the archetype that sort of protects, potentially in his functional positive role, he protects the humanity in this, and gives us our instruction on how to behave when it's cold out, when things are dark and barren, and there's the food, we have to make it last. Saturn is generally associated with scarcity. So Saturn would rather retreat a mile before advancing an inch. He wants to go back into the root and protect life itself in the winter. However, that psychology of being in the root of scarcity, of limitation, of coldness, also of death, is a problematic place to be in psychologically. We don't want to be in that place psychologically for any longer than we have to be. Those are realities, but we do not want to advocate in general for that type of mindset. So what does Jupiter do in Sagittarius? Jupiter tells us in a big fiery plume that we will be okay, that we can have hope, that we are courageous, and we are willing to believe and not look too closely, basically, at what's going on, and believe in humanity, believe in ourselves. We're going to be fine through the winter. Whereas Saturn is you know, rather obnoxiously telling us that we have to be, you know, we have to conserve, we have to, you know, huddle together in the, you know, in the castle and you know, be miserable. Or, you know, that's one of the options for sure with Saturn. He certainly doesn't have a lot of nice things to say. So Jupiter is really the opposite of Saturn attitudinally. He's containing Saturn by having the two signs, the one that goes before, and Pisces season, which is after. And I've mentioned before in other videos that the archetypes are defined by the relationship with the feminine, and if you want to look at Jupiter's relationship to the feminine, you look at Pisces and you'll see that the great goddess Venus is exalted in Pisces. And I've spoken about this at length in other videos, but that is Jupiter's function, is to contain Saturn's energy, and to basically he is giving the goddess this, reminding her that she will come through the winter. She gets rehabilitated, so to speak, by her presence in Pisces, where she can dream about the coming year, about warmth and beauty, and being pregnant with all of the, you know, the children of creation. So then if we go back to, you know, we have Jupiter there defined through his relationship with the, you know, giving the goddess her hope and her belief, and a place of imagination in Pisces. Also a place to sort of get rid of all of the dross, perhaps, that the goddess has gotten when she's going through the winter, where she's extremely limited. And Saturn's, one of Saturn's mythological major acts was, as I mentioned, to castrate Uranus, to and his modus operandi is to emasculate, to castrate, to limit the masculine. And what Jupiter has is sort of this this masculinity that is really can't be extinguished through that. It's hope. It's hope. It's not some, you know, you don't need to have a lot of stuff to have hope. So going back to mythology, where do we see Jupiter? How do we see him behaving in a lot of myths? So the first thing that I would point to would be Jupiter's creation story, when he was born and Saturn was about to eat. He ate all of his other siblings. He ate all of Jupiter's siblings, because Jupiter is the son of Saturn. So Jupiter was hidden away by Rhea in the caves, and you know, this group of the Curites, who were these warrior dancer noise-making people. They were joyously banging things and slamming their shields, their spears against their shields, and making a ruckus. And you can look at my Saturnalia video for more explanation. And that this story that I'm speaking of is the story of Saturnalia. So Jupiter managed to, with the help of the feminine, with the help of Rhea, became, you know, he managed to live, and his cries were, his infant cries were covered by the Curites, and so we have you know, this sort of remarkable situation where the one child, Jupiter, is sort of the chosen child to depose Saturn, to take the power away from Saturn eventually. And he receives the help of Rhea, of Saturn's wife. So that is, you know, that's a strong indicator to me that he is he's successful with women, with the feminine. He, you know, as I said, he the zodiac tells us that he brings the goddess back into into favor, into prepares you for the masculine part of the year, which is the from the equinox in spring to the equinox in the fall. After that, it becomes the feminine part of the year, more feminine than masculine. And Jupiter has this funny way in his in the myths of he's very randy. He goes around and has all sorts of affairs and dalliances, and seems to always come out on top, so to speak. He doesn't really suffer for all of his indiscretions. His wife, Hera or Juno, often punishes the poor women who wind up on the wrong end of the situation. Often it's pretty awful things that happen to them. Either they get killed or thrown into Tartarus or turned into bears or whatever. All this sort of things that might be considered sort of misogynist, or like this, this patriarch is always beating up on the women, so to speak. Well, just having affairs with them, and then they bear the brunt of the consequence for these affairs. So I wouldn't take that too. This is you can definitely see it as misogynist, and I wouldn't argue that. But it's Jupiter contains the feminine element, and just as Saturn contains the masculine element through castration, through literal castration and figurative emasculation, Jupiter contains the feminine, because Saturn is actually the proxy for the great goddess. He is, the one who worked on behalf of Gaia to castrate Uranus. So that is Jupiter's function. It is to uplift the feminine, to bring those elements of the feminine into a positive place, hopefully. So that may sound like a stretch, but I read these myths as elementally and energetically. So if you have to move back a little bit and try and understand how this would fit into our zodiacal story. So that is my relatively short video for today, and I will be doing another one soon on contrasting Jupiter's role with Mercury's role, in order to see how these two archetypes are contrasted within the zodiacal story. They have similar but radically different functions that need to be sort of explicated. I will do a video too about if you put these archetypes into Venn diagrams and or to overlap in certain places around certain key topics, we'll do a video that kind of shows us where the areas of agreement are and where they really go south with each other. So that's it for today. My website again is michaelmsuter.com. You can reach out and book a consultation through that. My readings are very much what you hear on these videos is what you get. I try and make these archetypes very clear in my readings with people, so that they can, to clarify what a positive functional archetype is versus one that starts to go off the rails and become either problematic or worse. That I believe that's very helpful to clients, and that's the feedback I've gotten from people, is that that's very useful, and it's much more in depth than you'll probably get with other astrologers. So that is it for today.